Travelogue number 2.
I wanna get out of my room, it's so boring. Crushed under the weight of things that I'm ignoring. She's ignoring. Talk to the hand, not to my face. Talk to the losers in my place. Fuck it, I'm leaving, I'm out of here. I got a one-way ticket to heaven. I wanna be high and bright.
Hello, come with me as I leave America for the first time, alone, with a 9-day German streak in Duolingo and a backpack. But first, I must say goodbye to Lucy, and then later to my parents after they dropped me off at the Charlotte Douglas Airport. The drive to get there felt like it took forever, but eventually I got to the airport and through security with plenty of time for my flight, so I decided to prepare for my plane ride and reread one of my favorite novels, Flights, by Olga Tokarczuk. They weren't real travelers. They left in order to return, and they were relieved when they got back. With a sense of having fulfilled an obligation, they returned to collect the letters and bills that stacked up in the chest of drawers, to do a big wash, to bore their friends to death by showing pictures as everyone attempted to conceal their yawns. My flight kept on getting delayed from the original time of 4 p.m., so I made many little journeys from my gate to the center of the airport and to other gates, until I eventually boarded the plane at 7 p.m.
That's just why I say I want to go back. He wants to go back. I want to go back to the farm, far away from home. Away from home.
Did the city drive you crazy when it watched you crash and burn? Did its 20/20 vision give you something you could learn? If I didn't mind my business, could have told you all along. But I'd be begging for forgiveness, like I did something wrong. Did I do something wrong? Ooh.
I ate, and then I finally got around to watching Asteroid City, and then I drifted off to sleep. We landed in Munich at around 10 a.m., and I was excited and ready to explore. Why did I think this was a good idea? I felt and I feel so lost and scared and almost on the verge of tears. I feel terrible right now. Exhausted, dysphoric, confused. I don't know what to do. This isn't at all what I expected. I don't know the language or the city. I am alone in the bad part of town, in a room with 9 other men who I don't know. But I am in Munich. I'm in Germany. I am in Europe. I wanted this for most of my life. I'm going to get some currywurst. And so I grabbed my camera and I walked to the best Wurst in town, a fast food currywurst place, and I started to see the beauty of Munich a little more. I felt a little more in my element, taking photos and videos and listening to music. I also wasn't in a touristy area like the one I stumbled through earlier, or near the train station where my hostel was. Apparently, the best version in town is in a mall. I ended up eating a currywurst and having spezi in a park near my hostel. It was not the best, not even in Munich, but it was sustenance. So, the next day I woke up at 4 in the morning and left my hostel by 5:30. I walked through the streets in darkness and the ominous vacant train station, where there was no one but me and some pigeons. It was kind of eerie being there, completely alone, with signs I couldn't understand underneath harsh fluorescent lights. But it was kind of cool, too. I walked to the Victualian Mart as they set up, but I was too early for coffee or tea, so I tried to find a coffee shop that was open or some other way that I could get breakfast and a caffeinated beverage. After walking and eventually following somebody into a Zottel, I got a small coffee and a Parmesan pastry. I ate it as I admired the Rathaus Glockenspiel as the sun rose.
Das mit denen und mit mir, das wird in diesem Leben nicht mehr funktionieren.
Then, I tried to burn a few hours for St. Peter's to open.
Funktionieren. Zu viel Streit in der Vergangenheit, über die Vergangenheit.
Deine?
This is my camera.
Your camera? This your beer?
No. That is not my beer, this is my camera.
Es tut mir leid, etwas mit Heimatministerium kann für mich keine Heimat sein. Ich kann nicht bleiben, es ist zu spät, steig mit ein, wenn es dir genauso geht.
Komm, fahr mit mir in 4x4, 1600 Wald und Wiesenpionier. Komm, fahr mit mir in 4x4, Spargelfelder ziehen vorüber, wenn ich geh, komm ich nicht wieder.
After watching the birds in the fountain, I realized that St. Peter's was now opening, and so I paid 5 euros to walk up a seemingly endless staircase to see all of Munich from above.
Vor dem Fenster meiner Wohnung steht ein alter Mann und lacht über die Dummheit seiner Jugend, die verbrannte Leidenschaft. Ein Mädchen hat im Hinterhof die Wände angemalt. Liebe ist so doof, wenn man am Ende nur bezahlt. Wie oft muss man mit dem Kopf gegen die Wand rennen, um für sich selber zu erkennen: wenn es gut ist, wird es schön sein und ein Leben lang passieren. Wenn es böse ist, dann beißt es und du wirst es schnell verlieren. Wenn es gut ist, wird es da sein, wann immer du es brauchst. Wenn es böse ist, dann schnappt es und dein Herz gibt langsam auf.
Afterwards, I tried to find another MJ, the Michael Jackson memorial that I stumbled upon the day before, if only just to prove that it wasn't just some lucid dream caused by jet lag, hunger, and exhaustion. Then I had a brought beer and pretzel at a beer garden in the Victuallian Markt. It was pretty good. The beer wasn't all that good, but it was my first legal beer. I then peed at a 3-story Five Guys and walked north to see some old churches.
Vollgemütlichkeit und Schwung. Ja, die bayerische Polka macht alle Herzen jung. Und für dein Spusi, für deine Susi, ist es die Musik, drum bittst du sie.
Also, apparently you can surf in Munich, so I watched some dudes do that for a bit. Then I walked around the English Garden. It was beautiful and one of my favorite parts of Munich. It was soothing after spending the morning and the afternoon in the city. It was peaceful. Miles and miles of park and river and trees. The leaves dying slowly, welcoming autumn. I knew I had to find the perfect spot to read. Restless people, ever ravenous for new adventures, backpacks brimming with cheap ramen, might end up in this place by accident. What will you see here? The very edge of the world where time, reflected off the empty waterfront, turns around disappointed and heads towards land, and piteously leaves this place with perpetual enduring. For how is 1946 different from 1976 here, or 1976 from 2000? After spending a few good hours in the English Garden, I walked to the residence, a former palace and now a museum of the former Munich monarchy. I didn't get too many videos here. The next day was my first day trip in Germany, and my first time using the train, to Rothenburg ob the Tauber. I might or might not have gotten lost trying to find the platform, and I might or might not have accidentally sat in first class for a good 30 minutes until they told me to leave. Our train to Nuremberg got delayed, which was fun, but it was still such a beautiful view that I couldn't complain. I did end up missing the train to Rothenburg, so I waited in the Nuremberg station for 30 minutes. A prelude of sorts. But soon enough, I arrived in Rothenburg, and it was just so beautiful. It felt like a fairy tale, cobblestone streets and city walls. Everything was just so picturesque. I could photograph every alley and building, every shop covered with vines. Well, if it wasn't for all the tourists. It was extremely crowded, but it was still so beautiful. I had pork knoedel and red cabbage in pepper sauce. It was good. A little bland, but it was good. Then I began to wander around the town, another person in the hordes of tourists on the main street. but quickly I ducked away to walk the walls of the city.
I'll follow the path of a white door, wooden walls of this forest church, protecting me from falling stone. And what have I learned? The coward is so concerned if the sun will come out and burn all who went out of turn. And I think that you're alive, you've done just fine. You don't always have to get it right the first time. So I'll follow.
It is the only time I've ever reviewed something on Google Maps, but it was so worth it. 5 stars. The restroom was right next to a sheep herder's museum, which was fascinating, but it was also cheap, and the person at the desk was very nice and complimented my hair, so I did spend €4 to essentially just see this. Then I tried snowballs, or Schneeballen, a pastry famous in Rothenburg and the surrounding areas. It is a puzzle of pie crusts in a ball with powdered sugar on top. Some of them have different frostings on it. But it was good. 1 is definitely enough, but I got 2. The tea was decent. I visited some shops, then I had to say goodbye. Tschüss to Rothenburg, and to you too. I'll meet you back in Munich. We still have castles to see, don't we?
Hast du